Hello everyone. Today I am doing several videos on Black Desert Online, focusing on farming rotations to help alleviate some of the pain that will be the Steam release. I suspect that the Medea region, which is here, the level 51 to 55 area, will be overcrowded as all hell shortly after the release on the 24th. So, to that extent, the rotation I'm focusing on for this video is the Cadry Ruins Elites. The Cadry Elites and the Gehaz Elites are very similar and are very typically chained together as a rotation. Now, one of the weird side effects of this area, I don't think it was mapped very well. So here I have highlighted the ruined city of Rune, which is very close to the start area for this rotation. This is where you can drop your horse. But highlighting that tells me to go through a mountain all the way around Cadry and back up the road. So don't rely too heavily on autopathing, please. My gear for this is very defensively stacked, but is not completely necessary. One of the comments I received before said that I have all this DP, but the Gehaz Elites were still doing significant damage to me. That is because the Gehaz Elites have very powerful damage over time effects that completely ignore DP. Their front end damage was very low, and I will also showcase that during this run. Another comment I received asked me what food buffs I was using. I used the night combat rations, the Valencian meal, and the Serendia meal on rotation. You put one of them on your hotbar so you can see that you can see the cooldown on them. And in addition to the buffs that the food gives itself, this also increases your health stat, which increases total HP. So, I have cleared my inventory of items. I have 0 silver to give an accurate representation of how much silver you can expect to earn during one of these rotations. So let's get started. Oh, that's freaky. I want to go that way. Now this pool is a dangerous area in the middle of it, although it appears to have been killed, which is impressive. A gatekeeper will spawn. If you skirt the outside, he will ignore you. It is best if he ignores you. Gatekeepers are level 58, I want to say, enemies designed for a full party to fight. As such, they will absolutely destroy single targets. That means you. Now the elites here are these large, tanky motherfuckers. Big ass shield, big ass sword, and they have several stun and knockdown attacks, which I will list when they do them. Their close range melee attacks, they have 2. They have a very quick stab that is a stun, and they have a kick followed by a slam. Their long range attacks are that sword slash and a shield charge. They also have 2 combos, one of which is a 3-hit combo, which they use a black effect on the first 2 hits and a red flame effect on the 3rd hit. And the second of which is the same animation without the effects. So that is the 3-hit combo. The 3rd hit is very easy to sidestep, as it is a stab with very small AoE. It also does not have very good tracking. After the 3-hit combo, you have about 2 seconds in which to do whichever attacks you feel like while he resets. In my opinion, it is best to stay at a medium distance from him to avoid the quick stab and to bait the 3-hit combo. Now, the first hit of the 3-hit combo, if he hits you with it, is a knockdown, which is very painful because it means that he will hit you with all 3 hits, and the 3rd hit will hit you while you are on the ground, doing additional damage. Now, the reason that these are a major farm is because they have a very high chance of dropping Blackstone armor and weapons, and those together are about 500k. Given that there's also a very good chance of them dropping Peel of Fae scrolls, maybe a 1 in 5 chance, those are worth $1 million apiece. So I'd say they're worth about 600 to 700,000 silver per kill. Now, they can also drop black magic crystals, which are typically worth a couple million, but those are much rarer. And they can drop Serap's necklace, which is extremely rare, but is worth 30 million. I am not going to be counting the Serap's necklace and the black magic crystal, even if I get them as a drop during this run, because they are not going to represent an average currency over time, but a burst. Now, to my knowledge, there are only 6 Cadry commanders that spawn, making this not as effective for long-term farming, but in combination with the Gehaz elites, which there are 9 of, it becomes much more manageable, even if you're not switching servers to rotate the spawns. They have a very long respawn timer of about 30 minutes. So if you do both the Gehaz and the Cadry, you will essentially be ready to start over again, even if you don't switch servers. Now, one of the downsides to having a linear rotation such as that is that at the end of the Cadry specifically, the Cadry is a line as opposed to a circle. You run through the entire canyon. So your horse will be at the beginning of the canyon, and you will be not with your horse. Another thing to note is that the Cadry fighters in specific have stun attacks that if they hit you with during the fight with the Cadry commander are very problematic. Their stun attack is that shield bash that this one just did. It is extremely close range, so it is easy to avoid as long as you stay a short distance away from them. I have found that as long as you have at least 200 DP, the Cadry Black Mage is nothing more than a nuisance. It is not a threat. Oh, here's a 7th. Oh, shit! Shit! That's a gatekeeper! Run! Run like hell. Why is there a gatekeeper there? That's a bad day waiting to happen. I have never seen a gatekeeper there before. I do apologize for that. Let us not go that way. To my knowledge, the gatekeeper is supposed to spawn in that water pool that I pointed out at the beginning of the video, but apparently it didn't. Now, one of the benefits, or one of the things to keep note of, is that the elites in these areas have a much lower aggro rate than the rest of the mobs here. So as you can see, the elite's just chilling, or he was, until I cleared out enough of the trash mobs that he aggroed. I am also playing particularly reckless with this, since I have the DP to do so. The Cadry commander himself, all of his damage is front-loaded. In his initial hit, he has no secondary damage over time effects, so there is nothing for him to mitigate your DP with. He also does not have any debuffs, which is something I'm extremely grateful for, because his moveset is based off of the warrior class. And the warrior class is known for its attack speed and move speed debuffs. In general, I would recommend being level 56 or 57 for these. Although being higher level isn't going to hurt anything. But be at least level 56 with probably 180 to 200 DP as a minimum. If you have lower than that, you can use elixirs of will to lower the damage received from monsters by 30%, and that will reduce the incoming damage appropriately. So by no means you have to have 270 DP to fight these. Particularly considering the fact that I am a Dark Knight in this, and Dark Knights are very quick, but not at all tanky. And they also lack a particularly reliable form of HP regeneration. But I do recommend for each class to try these out themselves at around level 56 to get an idea of how they fare against these mobs. Because each class is different and can fight different things with various gear. I do recommend at least trying this, whether or not you're successful or you find it efficient at your gear and level. It's also a whole bunch of fun. And it breaks up the monotony of fighting things that literally couldn't hurt you if you stood still for 10 minutes. Now the Rosar gear that you get from these is negligible in and of itself. If you are lower geared, it is a good idea to have a Rosar main hand weapon at plus 15 or pry. Sorry, at plus 15 or pry. And you can use these for upgrading or fail stacking. Alternatively, you just sell them to a vendor. They don't sell very well on the marketplace. You can just sell them to a vendor for 20k a piece. My god, the tracking on that move is just awful. I was behind him when it started, and he still didn't figure it out. So I believe there's a total, like I said, of 6 Cadry commanders in the Cadry area. There's 2 at each of the Cadry spawning circles that are those. And then 1 in between each. Oh, that's interesting. He hasn't had to reset for the last 3 combos. And just keeps attacking. There we go. So that is the last combo that he does. It's a kick followed by a slam. I believe the slam has a knockdown effect, but since he has to reset afterward, it really doesn't concern me. So that is all of the elites in this area. The rotation essentially ends through the gateway over here, or begins if you start on this side and go through to Gahaz. Now from here though, you have the option of running to Rock Post rather than going to get your horse, and then from Rock Post you go to the stable keeper and remote collect your horse. As long as it has no trade items on it, it doesn't harm it in any way, shape, or form. And it's also closer, because the horse is 1,000 meters away and Rock Post is 500. So that is the Cadry Elite rotation. Thank you for watching. Okay, so I completely forgot to go over what my inventory looked like after the end of the Cadry Elite rotation, I will do that now. To start off, 250-ish Cadry tokens at 1.2k silver apiece is, let's say 300k silver. Add 1 million for an ancient scroll is 1.3 million. Add 2.1 million, that's 3.4 million. Add 1.4 million is 4.8 million over the course of 15 minutes or so for the actual run. And then, like I said, you can use the Rosar gear to fail stack or to upgrade for yourself, but otherwise you are most likely not going to be able to sell it on the marketplace. You'll have to sell it to a vendor for the 21k silver. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 by 20 is 140k. So let's just say 4.5 million silver in 15 minutes. So it's 18 million silver an hour. Now granted, that's not counting traveling time, but it's a general idea of what you can expect. So, thank you for watching.